Oh, what do I do? I meant to put the countdown up and I didn't put the countdown up. Hello, we're live, everyone.
Hello.
There you
go. Yes, that was so. All the controls have moved around a bit over the Christmas break. So I'm just going to put the countdown up, and we'll be back. All right, you all saw nothing. We're still live. Yeah, welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We're a little bit rusty because we're coming off a nice long Christmas break. We're bringing you Transformers news from around the world and across Australia. Actually, there's not that much news from Australia this week. This is episode 267. Is our first episode of 2023. So please be nice to us. If you are listening to this a week later in a podcast app, stop now. Head over to YouTube where we record the podcast live. You can find the Transformers Collectors Club Australia Facebook group, and you can find us our live recordings in there and all sorts of stuff. This week's episode, we are going to be discussing each of the current major arms of the brand with recent news and reveals for 2023. We've got Legacy, Evolution, Earth, Spark, Rise of the Beasts, and even a little bit of Masterpiece news. All that and more is coming up in this week's episode. After this, if I can find the button. I was just going to say, halfway through the opening credits, Max has gotten up and run off. I'm like, do I need to remove him from the stream?
I didn't realize you could see that. I can't see Jason on that screen, but he can see me apparently.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing you didn't do anything slightly more risque. I mean. Well, welcome everyone. This is the brand new, slightly more blue version of the podcast for 2023. I'm Jason. I'm currently coming to you from Sydney, and in a few weeks' time, I will be coming to you from Melbourne when I sort out how I'm actually going to move all of this stuff behind me to Melbourne, which I have. To be honest, I've got no idea how this is going to work. We will see how that goes. Joining me tonight, coming to us from the other side of Sydney, we have Mikey. How are you doing, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thanks, Jason. Yeah, I've just been really looking forward to doing this show again because I've had some withdrawals from doing this podcast, and yeah, looking forward to getting back into it. And yeah, look, if you need any help moving your toys, let me know. I'm sure I can spare some time to help you probably move some
stuff. As you can see by the process,
get them back at the end.
Yeah, maybe.
There's always a risk. As you can see by the progress that I've made in packing the shelves behind me, I need all the help that I can get in packing up and moving. But we'll see. Yeah, look, it's going to be a process. Joining us from actually, Max, are you in Adelaide?
No, I'm on Campham Station, sort of in the Mallee, just north of Renmark. So
keep going.
That's a lot of words.
You've said words, but you haven't told us where you are.
Yeah, north, about 4 hours northeast of Adelaide.
4 hours northeast of Adelaide. Okay, so you're slightly closer to Sydney.
If you imagine, it's right at the sort of where the borders of SA, Victoria, and New South Wales all meet, and it's just north of the river, adjacent to the.
So you're in the Tri-County area of Australia.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I was like, we asked you where you are, and you rattled off a whole bunch of names of places. I'm like, no. No, don't know where any of those are. No, nothing.
No
Nothing.
one on the East Coast has ever heard of Renmark, and you'll probably never hear of it again.
We will see how we go. That is it. Thank you for being here, guys, and thank you for giving up your thank you for giving up your Friday nights. Max says way out west where the rain don't fall by James Rain and James Lundell. Very, very true. Max is way out east as far as Adelaide is concerned, and way out west as far as Sydney is concerned. You're way out in the middle of somewhere. Don't know where. It's 2023, guys. We've been off for a while. We had a busy December, and we've had a busy January as well. The Transformers reveals sort of took a bit of a back seat, except for the last maybe week and a half. Things have sort of ramped up a little bit, so it is time to get back into the saddle and talk about some Transformers stuff. But what have you been up to in the meantime? What did you do over Christmas?
You go.
Anyone can go. Feel free.
Went home, visited family, which was nice after pretty much not being in Adelaide for the past half a year at all. And then since then, pretty much spent all my time out here doing field work. Out in the alley. So not much time actually engaging with the hobby at all. So nice to be back doing a show.
So you had a break while the official Transformers reveals had a break. So that seems okay, right?
I was working, but it was a break from the hobby. So it's like, it's basically completely disengaged. So it's nice to finish up work this week, and then all of a sudden there's like a dozen bloody reveals in the past, the span of the past few days.
Basically the past 24 hours, but
it's sort of came out of nowhere.
It did. Mikey, how have you been coping with the withdrawals from doing podcasts and the like over Christmas?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, my Christmas was fine again.
That's great. How was Christmas? Fine.
Fine. Yeah, it was all right. I don't know. It was a bit of a weird one this year, but at least I got to see my family and stuff, so that was fine. Totally looking forward to getting back and chatting Transformers as we all do love. And funnily enough,
Transformers and more, because you and I also do Toy Reel, where I pretend to care about other toy lines. But
right. Because that's funny, right? I haven't bought a Transformer this year. I think the last thing that I bought was a Black Series Darth Maul, which is right next to me. But I will hint for my acquisitions when we get to it. It's not going to be a figure, but it's going to be something rather that I did. And I think it'll be pretty cool.
Okay.
Without.
I mean,
what has Mikey done?
I'm slightly concerned, but we'll see. I've actually just realized that when it comes to reveals, I need to find a very specific tweet because acquisitions, because I have a figure that I've recently acquired, but it is not here. But I do have some photos of it, so I'm just getting that up into the screen share now. That's ready to go. Cool. Thank you for the reminder. So
there you go.
All right, look.
How about you? How was your Christmas?
Oh, my Christmas was so stressful.
Okay, moving right along.
Let's not talk about it. I went to the UK. I managed to buy a bunch of things in the UK that couldn't get in Australia, at least at the time or whatever. But it went well. There's a few spoilers for a few spoilers for my word salad that's coming out later tonight. Do you know what? I'm just gonna put a small spoiler for my acquisitions up into the frame right now. There we go.
Nice.
There's a world renowned pink hot rod. We will talk about him more when it comes to acquisitions. I think we should probably stop wasting time and get on to some Transformers talk. What do you reckon?
Yo. Let's do it.
Yo.
Sure.
All right. Look, first of all, before we start talking about news, we're going to go through some releases. There's a couple of notable releases, and there's one that I'm not sure of. For local releases, we've seen Earthspark figures Did I get that right? Yes. No, I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't
people have,
transliterate
yep.
any words. Earthspark figures have started coming out in Australia. They're at Toy World, Big W, and Target. I picked up an Earthspark Twitch at Toy World. I felt like I'd gotten in a fight afterwards and that I'd been beaten up because she was $45.
Oi.
I know she's $5 cheaper at she's $5 cheaper at Big W and Target too. So,
God.
look, I hadn't seen anyone actually post the sighting before, so I wanted to be one of the first to post the sightings, which means buying the figure as well for me. So I bought the figure. The good news is she's pretty good, so that's all right.
Cool.
The other local release news is that Legacy Evolution is meant to be out at EB Games this week, but I'm not sure. Does anyone know if it actually slipped? Because apparently JB Hi-Fi's release date slipped to later this month. But yeah, so it's in my local releases news with a question mark because I don't know. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Like if it was out, we'd see it all over the group.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I saw someone posted today that they got breakdown, and so I wasn't sure whether he got it from EB or not.
Oh.
I didn't really have enough time to check. I do know that today was meant to be the release date. Overseas releases, apparently Masterpiece Dark Amber Leo Prime is out in Asia. We'll talk about that one a little bit later on. Masterpiece Skyfire is also shipping in Asia. Should be hitting some of the stores that I get my stuff from in Singapore next week. So won't be too long before I have Jetfire in hand. But then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Whether I should just ship him here or ship him to Melbourne because I'm going to move soon. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And the Legacy Evolution Wave 1 Deluxes and Voyages have been out for a while overseas, but just gonna call them out here as well. So
I just checked the Zing/EB website and they've pulled all the listings for Legacy Evolutions.
Yeah, so is JB. Yeah.
So who knows?
That's not good.
Interesting.
Is that not good?
Yeah, maybe it'll be like a what country was it? I think it was the UK. They didn't get the second wave of Combiner Wars or something, so there's no one can finish their Superion. Maybe that'll be us with Breakdown.
Oh,
just entirely skip away, and no one can finish Men
suck.
Look, I would say that if people have put down money for the things, they'll still be there. But usually EB pulls their listings when they run out of pre-orders. So maybe that's why. But look, we'll find out. We'll find out what the story is. I do recall that when Legacy Wave 1 the order of words escapes me. When Legacy Evolution Wave 1 was first sort of shown for pre-order, it seemed to have a March release date. So February might just be a little bit early. We'll see. Anywho, without further ado, let's talk about Wave 2 of Legacy Evolution, which has been revealed. They took a long time to do some product launches, and then I think it was like on the last day of January. We'd heard that they were going to be doing some product reveals in January. And it's like, well, you've got like 3 days left. Oh, okay, you're gonna do one on like the 31st of January. All right, good on you. So Legacy Evolution Wave 2, it seems, has been revealed. We have our second Insecticon, which seems to imply that we're going to get one Insecticon a year. We'll see. So we've got Shrapnel, we've got Twincast, Metal Hawk. I can't remember the name of the Junkion. Was it Overload or something? Or?
Crash Bar. That's
the one.
Junkion name generated by an AI.
I mean, why not though? I mean, most of the Junkions look like they're put together by an AI. Transformers Prime Skyquake as the leader looks pretty great.
Yeah.
There's also the Skids repaint that we all knew was coming in Senator Crosscut. Animated Prowl, who looks freaking smashing.
Yeah.
And in the core class, we've got Thundercracker, Nemesis Prime, and Grimlock.
Mm-hmm.
Bit odd because we know that the Dinobots are a combiner this year, and it's a 6-member combiner. It's a bit odd to put 2 of them out in Wave 1 and only put 1 of them into Wave 2, but see how we go. first reactions, guys. What do you think? Looking at the little pretty collage of all of these images here. Any thoughts on the structure of the wave and the figures that we're getting?
I'm really appreciating just the sheer diversity of it. Like
I was about to say,
you look at the deluxes for Wave 1, and there's for the Wave, and there's only really one like G1, like it's other G1 characters, but there's only one like 1984 character, like 1984, 86 era character, which is kind of a rarity. And otherwise, it's a couple of just really deep pulls, like finally getting a Metal Hawk, and then the updates to like the aesthetic of just the prime and animated figures here. Like I'm blown away by what they've done. That's seriously impressive.
They do look really impressive. So just speaking of impressive, I just want to throw back. Mark Jones says Breakdown was seen at Zing and Tarn was seen at a different Zing. So I would say that Evolution Wave 1 is hitting EB and Zing today. So thank you very much for that, Mark. And also someone who hasn't connected StreamYard to their Facebook account says that they've posted pictures of Breakdown and Tarn in the group today. EB and Zing purchases. So so they are definitely out there today, I would say. As to the contents of Wave 2, like we've got this big wall of text with all the descriptions here, but let's get to the pretty photos. Apparently we're doing core class first. Now I'm gonna be a negative ninny here. What are people's thoughts on the core Dinobots?
He's mistransformed.
He is mistransformed. That's correct.
Yeah.
However, I did pick up, I think it was Sludge when I was in the UK at Christmas, and I gotta say I am not a fan.
Well, look, they are core, and it's hard, right? They're core class and they're a combiner. So like, the cores that don't combine have been great so far. I feel like if we had Dinobots that weren't combiners, they would have been perfect. But I feel like they're just doing too much, and the obvious reason they're doing this is because we're going to be getting a Dino King, whoever he is.
Look, there's more and more confirmations swirling around that Dino King's coming. I think Evan Brooks posted a comment on someone's YouTube video today saying, "Yeah, we didn't really hide that very well." So Dino King's definitely coming, but
it makes sense that he is, because you'd think that Grimlock would be the main torso, or at least the top bit, and not Snarl. So the fact that he's now a leg, it doesn't make any sense, because he's the leader of the Dinobots, and we're also getting a 6th member, which will probably be the Ankylosaurus. So we're getting a new Dinobot, which is pretty cool, out of this set. So that's pretty cool. But we do know, like, it's safe bet we're getting at least a box set. I think the rumor is a box set of the 6 of them. I see people's hatred for Sludge because his legs just are not legs. They're not functional legs.
To me, Sludge is just a massive compromise, and I understand that compromises happen at the low price point and the small scale. This is actually why I generally avoid them. I usually don't have legend scale figures or core scale figures in my collection, and I bought this one out of curiosity at Forbidden Planet in the UK, which means I paid about $27 or $28 for it once you figure in like currency conversion and VAT and everything. Just I transformed it and I'm like, is that it? Okay, cool, fine. Well, at least he looks like the Serenity ship from Firefly when he's in dinosaur mode. But I am not very interested in completing a Dinobot combiner, so this is a pass for me. Same as Mark said, ongoing hard pass for the Dinobot combiners.
I think they will. I'll just say quickly, I think they will look a lot better when they are retooled into what they're supposed to be, and more than likely people are going to leave it in combined mode, which looks like it's going to be promising. So we'll see. They're not good Dinobots, and hopefully they'll be good. What's their team called? The Dino King? What are they called?
The Dinobots. I don't know. Dino King. I'm not sure what Dino King's team name is, but at least the Dinobots
whatever they are
is Volcanicus. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not going to pretend to know anything about Victory.
No, same.
I am going to Google it.
No, Dino Force. There you go. Thank
Mark
you, Mark.
says Dino
Dino
Force.
Force.
So they're going to look like a good Dino Force. But anyway.
Well, you hope. Look, like I said, I'm not really there for the rest of these. I don't really care. Let's on that note, let's have a no, that was his there's his robot mode.
It looks like it comes with another head, which is interesting, because that blaster looks suspiciously like a head.
Maybe. I believe the tail converts into the weapon, which is potentially a nice little nod to his pretender mode. But like the leg design is noticeably Grimlock. But yeah, just the rest it's just too small to be a good figure for me.
Yeah, agreed.
Filling out the rest of the sorry.
Yeah, I feel like I could give all of these a pass, except maybe Sludge if they had elbows, like if they were still a functional figure.
But yeah, that is noticeably missing from Sludge. Also, like I feel like they're starting to sort of hit the limits of what they can do with that scale. Like the core class Rumble in Studio Series also was missing elbows, and it was quite disappointing. Final Core Seeker is coming out. We've got Thundercracker in his lovely blue. It's got to be said. The little Core Seekers have been well received, but again, I've got enough Seekers in my collection. I don't really.
Yes, you do.
Yes. But there you go. Notably for this release, they have returned his null ray weapons, or at least his guns.
So bizarre.
The Skywarp release did not come with that. So
it came with a tuning fork for some reason.
Yeah, a bit uneven. And of course, we're getting the Nemesis black version of the Optimus Prime mold. Because where Prime goes, Nemesis goes as well.
This confirms that obviously the axe was maybe going to be part of the Prime like the Optimus version, but then this confirms it's real. So that's why he has the little holes on his on the back of his hand, so you can actually make the axe. So that's pretty cool.
And it has been pointed out, I believe it was by Declan, Dr. Lockdown. The trailer is illustrated backwards in this artwork. The line on the back of the trailer is meant to be the other way around.
Interesting.
It's because he's evil.
Yeah, it's because he's the opposite of Prime.
He's evil. His Autobot symbol is meant to be upside down, and his trailer is back to front. That's how you can tell. Also the goatee. Anyway, like enough core class figures. I feel like a core class was met with a resounding meh. Let's talk about Insecticons. I would say that the Kickback release in Legacy Wave 1, so about a year ago, was pretty well received. Do you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going for the second Insecticon, similar aesthetic. I feel like this guy has a little bit more visible grey. Kickback had the transparent wings.
Yeah, interesting.
Which I think gave him a bit of a different feel to this, but still the colors are consistent at least. So we've got a Shrapnel for our Insecticon team. Looking
so we've lost the rights to Shrapnel again. He's back to Scrapnel.
No, he's Shrapnel.
No, I've been seeing him. Yeah, I've been seeing him called Scrapnel.
So I would say that this is a copy and paste from the press release, and it says Shrapnel.
Interesting. I've been seeing everywhere else I've seen this. He's been called Scrapnel. So
wait. There's the box.
There's the box. What's his name?
Oh, now I wait for this.
The suspense is killing me. Okay,
it is Shrapnel. It's Shrapnel.
Oh, good on. Thank goodness, because I thought, I think it was on the live stream they called him Scrapnel. I'm just like, why? Anyway, it's good. We've still got the name.
Someone needs to DM Mark Clonus and ask why they were wrong. I mean, it's up there. It's up there with all the stock photography going wrong at Hasbro.
Yeah.
Look, very, very, very faithful bug mode, I think, for Scrapnel, whatever you want to call him.
People are complaining, and this is so stupid, that it's too faithful. And I'm just like, what were you expecting? Like,
I haven't heard those complaints. Those people.
I have, and
they have been around, but it's I mean, the whole line is a pretty mixed bag in terms of, okay, here's some scene. There is a lot of stuff that does take liberties and is much more of an update. So having a few things here like where they just go, okay, here is the G1 Insecticons, but with articulation and better proportions. Like, I don't mind that because there's enough variety in terms of other things that are, like we'll get to later here.
God.
That are
Oh my
creative.
God! I've just realised that they'll do an e-hobby Insecticon colored set for Gen Selects next year, or maybe it'll be the STCC one once the last Insecticon is out. Just mark my words. There'll be a box set with 3 Insecticons in the e-hobby colors. Love it. I'll be so there for that.
I'm there for that as well. But we also did see, in that poster for Legacy, we saw the swarm of Insecticons. Not only did we see the 3 main Insecticons, but we saw every single one of the deluxe Insecticons. The other 4, Ransack, Venom, Chop Shop, and
that's
the other
true.
one.
That's true.
So yeah, hopefully we get them as well.
Well, we already have one.
We have one. Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
we have Ransack, and he was a repaint of Kickback. So I feel like they can do all the deluxe Insecticons as repaints instead of having to necessarily retool. They might have different heads. One of the molds gets duplicated twice, or they swap out a Waspinator for one of the last Insecticons. So it's possible.
Like
it's possible. We'll see. Maybe Zaptrap Barrage. I don't know. There's a bunch of there's a few deluxe Insecticons there.
Yeah, Barrage is the last one I was thinking of.
Yeah. So Ransack, Venom, Chop Shop, and Barrage. Zaptrap, I don't believe is one of them. And yes, and Mark says Chop Shop was a shrapnel repaint last time. Yes, I think given Hasbro's new propensity to not leave teams unfinished, I think they'll finish the deluxe Insecticons now that they've started them.
And Let's talk right, about. I'll just say Rob was right. The rear legs of the insect mode actually do turn into. So this guy comes with 3 guns now, which is pretty cool. So he's loaded. So yeah. So that purple gun.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
That's one of his legs.
That's good because I was a little bit disappointed with the way that they handled the insect mode legs on Kickback. They just sort of like fold them apart, but that this makes me happier. Let's talk about my favorite reveal of the wave, animated Prowl. Now, this is loading. This also gives us sort of Hasbro's first response to fans who sort of complained a bit about Transformers Prime RC going too far towards G1 and Bulkhead. And remember, Hasbro said that they realized they went a little too far with it, and so they've sort of pledged that future designs for bringing in characters like from animated will try to retain a little bit more of the original likeness of the character. And I would say here they've definitely succeeded in doing that. So animated Prowl is not a re-release of his animated figure. That still exists. It's a toy you can go out and buy if you like, and a lot of people do like it. But they've pulled the sweeping animated lines in, but they've kept his color scheme. And they've kind of kept the proportions. I'm really quite a fan of what they've done. Also, it's yet another motorbike for Legacy. There's so many motorbikes in Legacy.
There's tons.
Yeah. You may as well call it Legacy Motorbike Evolution, but yes.
Add another word in there. Why not?
Yes. Rob says this version of Prowl is growing on me. I may end up burying it. I think he might mean buying it. And Mark does clarify Zaptrap, Salvo, and Shot Hole were the e-hobby versions of the Insecticons. That's what I get now. Sorry
Shot
about that.
Hole, nice. Yes. Ever since this guy was leaked, I'm just like, yeah, this is a buy on site type of figure. It looks like the animated toy, but like not too G1ified, but like just enough. I'm really cool. I'm glad that it comes with the Shuriken still, both of them.
I am too. I think I'm glad he doesn't come with the traffic lights.
Oh, I wouldn't have mind. Like, just a goofy thing that was, but like,
Yeah, there was a goofy thing that was cool. Also, the shurikens are way more detailed than they need to be. Like you can see, they've actually got moving pieces and the like. So, they do become part of his alt mode with the wheels and hubcaps and stuff. So, a lot of attention to detail put into that, and yeah, I think doing quite a bit of justice for a fan favorite interpretation of Prowl. So, really looking forward to seeing this guy.
If I'm not mistaken, like I know we haven't had any, any, this is the first sort of redo or remake of something from animated, but I don't believe we've even had any reissues, have we? Like, so this is quite literally the first animated anything since the show finished.
I think you're right. This is the first time Hasbro's acknowledged that animated was a thing that happened over 10 years ago. I do know that there's going to be more animated, but I can't really say how I know. But that's okay. There's leaks and rumors out there, so there's going to be.
We'll talk after the show.
We'll talk after the show. Look, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to say Voyager Optimus Prime and Deluxe Bumblebee.
Excellent.
So
I've
heard,
just Prime.
I've heard that they're coming, and that's the wrong franchise. I've heard that they're coming, so we'll see how we go. Might be later in the year, might be next year. We'll see how we go.
That's amazing.
So there we go. There's animated Prowl. We also have a deluxe crosscut skids repaint. The skids repaint that we all knew was coming. Really, to be honest, I don't think there's anything bad about him, but I'm not really super inspired by it. How do you guys feel about crosscut?
The hubcaps needed a little bit more paint because they just it looks too much like a toy car without the paint. I mean, it is a toy car. But yeah, it's just not really like, that's the only thing I don't like about it. It's just that why his wheels why they're all red, like,
There's a lot of people don't like the fully red wheels. It's
it just looks unnatural.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the whole thing looks like a real car anyway. But
well, I mean, if it was a Cybertronian mode, I'd be down with it. But it's going for that kind of whatever Skids was originally. Yeah, shit. Basically.
Let's get back to animated for a second. Rob says, I wonder if animated Swindle will get a legacy update if we aren't getting a Constructicon Sam. I'd like to see an animated Swindle. Do you know what? I think you might be happy with Earthspark, to be honest, mate. I think the Swindle that I've seen in Earthspark is so close to his animated representation and his like proportions and the way that he moves. I reckon Earthspark might sort you out for Swindle. All right, let's move on. Crosscut is kind of what we expected him to be. Let's talk about the beauty that is the Junkion. What's his name? What did we say his name was?
Crashbar.
Crashbar, there we are. Yes, so the Junkion Crashbar. The Junkions are the new weaponizers. You can pull them apart and reattach them and attach them to other bots with 5mm ports, as we've seen over the last few years. Really happy to see sort of a coherent set of these guys coming out. They'll make a nice set of Junkions on your shelves, and also most notably, of course, is another motorbike.
Yeah. Someone made the comparisons that his head sculpt looks kind of like Mark Mayer from and they hinted that they kind of actually designed him off Mark. And apparently when they revealed this guy, Mark was wearing like he was on the live stream, he was wearing these colors. I'm just like, did he just make a transformer of himself? Because it's a completely new character. So like, is this legend just making transformers of himself now? Like, how cool can this guy be? Like,
you know what? If you're in the position to slip a product out that bears your own likeness in a toy, wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Why not? Just maybe it's really that the head design may have fallen to someone else to do, and they might have just done it as a sort of to try to
tribute,
get brownie points. Yeah. The Junkions are pretty cool. I had the chance to get Scrap Heap when I was in the UK. I didn't. I will wait. I'll wait for the others to come out at retail here because they will be way cheaper. I I did get some Legacy Wave 1 deluxes when I was in the UK, but we'll talk about them a little bit later. The big thing that surprised everyone is the Voyager Metal Hawk coming in. Now we'd seen Metal Hawk on leaked listings, and we'd kind of assumed that he was going to be a G-Axis repaint, but he actually seems to owe a little bit more to Kingdom Cyclonus than we might otherwise think, but also quite heavily retooled from Cyclonus still, and so not exactly a one-to-one mapping of him, but it's the shoulder design and the way that the wings fold at the back that give it away. But the color scheme is quite unique, and I think Metal Hawk is a character that more people have been interested in since his run in the IDW comics. And there was a Metal Hawk figure in Titan's Return, but you had to get one of the 5 packs that never came to Australia in order to get that figure. And he was just a repaint of another figure rather than a retool. So nice to see an official Metal Hawk sort of getting a lot of love from the design team. What do you guys think of the new Metal Hawk?
Yeah, that's an inspired retool. Like, I was sort of half expecting him to be more IDW styled because that's what most people are going to be familiar with. But with all this love they've been showing to Japanese G1 recently, I totally understand why they went with this, and it fits so surprisingly well. The only thing is the shoulders and the thighs the shoulders in particular do really stick out to me, just because on they are quite Cyclonus's shoulders are quite distinctive.
Yeah.
I feel like they are quite distinctive, but also they're distinct in those colors, and I think you can get away with it in blue.
I don't know. It's just because pretty much everything else is retooled, and then you have this part of Cyclonus that's very distinctly forms part of that silhouette. So it's kind of it doesn't look like a retool of Cyclonus. It looks like a Metal Hawk figure with Cyclonus's shoulders bolted on. Like, it's not really a complaint, but it's just a bit uncanny.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's there if you're looking for it, but I think there's enough to distract you. Also, that head sculpt for Metal Hawk is gorgeous, and I think the fact that there's been some heavy retooling on the body is I think that's enough to distract you from Cyclonus as well. Mark doesn't agree. Mark says Titan's Return Metal Hawk was so much better. He's definitely not bad, but I felt like he didn't quite represent the comic or the original character. He was just sort of a bit of a lazy name slap.
That jet mode sucks. It's not
this
great.
one.
Yeah,
it's got a few color clashes on it, which I think the original may have had as well. So
I'm not even talking about the colors. I'm just the proportions of everything just doesn't work. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of the weapons. I like the weapons that turn into the rear wings. They're just so drab, and then the sword, they're all just this really plain gray, and it kind of, I don't know, ruins the rest of the, I mean, the main problem I and everyone I think has with the jet mode is the wings, because they've got like these chunks coming out that are I guess Cyclonus's arms. This is clearly like Cyclonus backwards. It just looks a bit awkward. It looks more like a Cybertronian jet than was Metal Hawk a Cybertronian jet, or was he a real jet?
I'm pretty sure he's meant to be a Cybertronian jet. I don't know.
Which is the G1 toy is not great.
Yeah,
it's like this, but more disjointed. So this is
Mark has just pointed out that the guns can't fire in jet mode without blowing his wings off.
That's very true. Yeah, it's a bit
I do wonder if the guns are actually meant to attach under the wings.
Yeah, but then if you do that, you lose the rear wings because the guns are under the wings. So he's going to look very
bit of an oddball. This guy.
With the alt mode, that Voyager Cyclonus was seriously clever in how it transformed. But it was seriously clever in that it was doing Cyclonus's transformation, which necessitates being really clever. Like, I've only had 2 like proper updates to G1 Cyclonus, and they were both of them had really really intuitive and really clever transformations.
Brilliant
But
toys.
it only really works if you're going to do Cyclonus, because nothing else quite looks like that. So trying to, like, I think the robot mode looks fantastic, and this jet mode is an improvement over the original.
Okay,
but
good.
it's still inherently going to look iffy. You know,
I mean, if it looks like the original, if it looks as awkward as the original, then fine. I thought he had more of a sleeker, more Earth-based jet mode, but it's not the worst jet we've ever seen. I still think nothing is going to ever top Titan's Return Broadside's jet mode, because that's one of the worst excuses of a jet we've ever seen. But again, triple changer, so I don't really care. But it's still bad, but like it's more forgivable than, I guess, this.
So, are you interested in getting this guy to set on your shelf in robot mode, or just not interested?
I'm not interested in this guy at all because he's doesn't fall into what I'm collecting. But if I did collect the G1 part of Legacy, I would definitely get him for his robot mode.
Mario.
And that's what most people are going to put him in. Like Mark said, he's going to be one that's going to stay in his robot mode forever. And like, to be fair, I don't know a lot of collectors that do display their figures in their alternate modes, besides maybe the Dinobots and some rare teams. So doesn't really matter, I guess.
Seems fair, yeah. Max, how do you feel about Metal Hawk?
Yeah, I like Metal Hawk as an IDW character, and it is Japanese G1, but it's kind of, the whole appeal of that initial Cyclonus mold was just how good that transformation was. And in a case like this, I'm not going to, he doesn't look like he transforms nearly as intuitively. Like, there's things that, the arms don't seem to move nearly as much. So it's kind of, I look at this and I go, well, the inherent appeal of that Cyclonus mold just isn't there in this case. And then all you have is a decent robot mode, but it's like, I'm not, there isn't much to complain about really, but he's just not grabbing me. There's not that.
It can be average. It's okay.
Exactly.
To be honest, I like it, but I probably wouldn't buy it at full price, but I might buy it on sale.
That's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. And Mark has also pointed out that the thing that we might be forgetting, because we might be just referring to Metal Hawk from the comics mentally as a reference point, is that Metal Hawk was actually a pretender originally. So what we're looking at was originally he's in a robot mode, and no one had a really good alt mode in the pretender style. So yeah. Let's move on from Metal Hawk. Let's talk about Twincast. Now, if you'll recall, last year I said 2022 was going to be the year of Blaster, because we had Kingdom Blaster, Legacy Blaster, same thing with a different name and an increased price, and we had Shattered Glass Blaster, and we were meant to get Twincast later in 2022. Obviously, he slipped into 2023, so it's the 2 years of Blaster. I don't know what they'll do with the mold beyond this, but I feel like maybe this might be the last outing for the Kingdom Blaster mold. But what a way to go! The Twincast colors are the Twincast colors are lovely, and they've turned the little tape dude who, despite everyone's fears of him being transparent plastic, everyone thought that he'd basically crumble in the face of a beam of sunlight. Eject seems to have been fine, so they've updated him into Rewind now. Rewind is a very popular character because of the comics, so I reckon there's going to be a lot of people buying this to get their hands on that Rewind figure. But yeah. As I see, Rob Franklin says Twincast is a must-buy to complete the Blaster trilogy. Now, something also strikes me that if we are getting a Twincast, maybe we're going to get a Sound Blaster as well. And we did see the. No, we actually don't. Like we had a re-release of Siege Sound Blaster in Legacy. Siege Soundwave in Legacy, but we haven't actually had a Sound Blaster update to that.
There was an exclusive Sound Blaster.
Yeah, but that wasn't the Netflix mold. It was the Siege mold.
No, so we haven't had. So
you're right. Too. Yes, you're right. There was there was that Sound Blaster that was sort of meant to sort of ape his Netflix appearance. I was going to say there is a core Sound Blaster because I've got him here.
Nice.
But again,
I think there was two releases of that.
There was
That's
one that looked
Yes,
like
there were.
there was so there was one with the God, what was that faction that they invented for that show? The Mercenaries
Mercenary?
logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was one with the
Yeah.
Mercenaries logo, and then there was one with the Decepticon logo, and then they had slight
Was the
paint
Decepticon
differences.
one cell shaded?
Yes,
one-
that's the one.
No.
Yes, that's the one. Oh no, it wasn't, but it came out with the cell shaded Prime. So there was a cell shaded Prime, Megatron, and then you could get the Sound Blaster, and there was like one
There's
of
a
the
blue
Datsuns.
streak as well.
A blue streak, something like that.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. So Blue Streak and Sandblaster are in the same line, but they weren't cell shaded.
No, for
Yeah,
some, yeah,
Yeah, there were the. I think it was the 35th anniversary line. You are quite
35th,
right.
yeah.
There was indeed a Sound Blaster in recent years. It had escaped my attention, but I do feel they might bring that back now that we've got Twincast. So Twincast needs a foil. So we'll see.
Both of those Sound Blaster releases are notoriously hard to find now. Like they're really hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, so the Sound Blaster is a bit funny, right? Because the original release from Hasbro had a Decepticon logo. It was the Takara release, which came about a year later, that had the Mercenary logo and it had slightly less battle damage on the chest door. So it was sort of a cleaned up version that looked like he did in the Netflix series. Because unlike most things in the Netflix series, Sound Blaster was quite well received in terms of his origins and his presentation in the show. So people did want to get a Netflix Sound Blaster on their shelves, and so the Takara release of that figure became quite popular. My guess is that it's that version that's quite hard to find now. I reckon the Hasbro version you can just whack a repro labels a Toy Hacks mercenary symbol if they exist or whatever onto the chest door as well. But yeah. It's there. I feel like Twincast needs his foe, and he needs him as a re-release in 2023. Maybe later. Maybe 2024.
You've got to assume that if they're going to release Sound Blaster as a Netflix mold, he'll probably cost $100 again, just because Hasbro likes doing that.
Maybe. I mean, look, the Shattered Glass Sound Blaster price is an interesting point of discussion. Let's say that the new Voyager price point is $60 to $65, and there's two Battle Masters there. I think Ravage and Laserbeak came in a 2-pack originally for $20. So you sort of get to $75, $80. They like to tack a little bit extra on for Shattered Glass, so you get to maybe $90 or thereabouts. That's probably what he should have been instead of $130. I think a lot of places are selling the Shattered Glass Soundwave happily for about $90 to $95 now. Yeah. So Kyle asks which cassette would come with Sound Blaster. Hopefully Buzzsaw. I mean,
yeah,
we're still waiting for a Buzzsaw. So
Buzzsaw,
you know,
because we've had Wing Thing before we got Buzzsaw, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just assumed we would have got one.
We've had so many releases of Sound Waves and Sound Blasters and even Shatterglass Soundwave, and none of them. And he was in the show. That's the thing.
Yeah, Buzzsaw was even in the show. Yeah, you're right.
Have we seriously not had a Buzzsaw?
And we've had multiple releases of Laserbeak. We've had multiple releases of all the cassettes, and not one yellow one. No, and he was Sound Blaster's buddy in the show.
Mark says we did get a Rat Bat, and we did. That's quite right. Rat Bat is attainable, but yeah, we did not get a Buzzsaw. So I would say that if you were going to do another Soundwave-ish release, you've got to put Buzzsaw in there.
Yeah, it's silly.
That's the last Voyager there, and now let's talk about Skyquake. Wow, Skyquake is the leader for Evolution Wave 2. We've also heard that his brother will be coming possibly in Wave 3 as well. But look at this guy; he's a big fuck off robot. Looks fantastic. This looks like they've learned their lesson of G1ifying Prime designs, and they've done a nicer update of this than say they might have done with RC or Bulkhead.
What gets me is it's not G1. I'm sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, what gets me is it's not G1ified. It's G2ified. Like this is Skyquake, and he's not taking any specific traits from G2 Skyquake, but just there's no specific parts or aesthetics or anything. But just the overall shape of it and the lines and the angles, it just so perfectly evokes G2 Skyquake without taking anything directly at all. But it's there. It's Like there's nothing directly taken between the two, but the lines and the angles are just there. It's really remarkable.
I think it looks fantastic. I mean, look, I love Transformers Prime, so I see Prime Skyquake in this, but you know that's kind of the beauty of this is that you can see whatever you want in it. Like, I think the face design is definitely an update to Prime, but maybe
And
that's
with
also
G1 with G2 mixed in.
Yeah. There's definitely a good mix in there, but yeah, look at there's a couple of good energy weapons and like. Got to remember this guy's a leader class figure, so they've got a bit of budget to play around with on him as well. There's a couple of windows and a few things. That jet mode looks lovely,
gorgeous. Yeah. Look, I've said this to anyone who's listened to me talk about this figure. I will buy every version of this because I think it looks fantastic. I think we'll get, obviously, we've got Skyquake, we'll get Dreadwing. We might even just get a straight up G1 version of this guy.
A Gen Selects in Predator Skyquake colors.
Yeah, but there's one obscure character that I want of this that I think will work really well. And please, I've already talked to Mark about this. I don't think he's replied to me or got back to me, unfortunately, which sucks. But I know Hasbro...
He's known to sometimes take a couple of weeks, but he does sort of
so
get around to
hopefully he does get back to me. I'm not going to blame the guy because he does get back to people, and there's thousands of nerds that I'm guessing are going to bugger him, so I try not to. But I know that Hasbro sometimes watches us, at least Australia watches us. Please, can we get a King Atlas out of this? I would think this fits perfectly for that color scheme. I like, for an obscure character and color scheme for a giant jet transformer, there's none more, I guess, beautiful than the Universe King Atlas color scheme and design. And I think this will suit him perfectly, just in a really nice royal white and yellow and blue, royal blue, sorry. I think it would look amazing, and if it doesn't happen, I'm probably just going to buy another one and get a customizer to make it into it, just as I have
if only we knew a customizer.
I know several. I have several customizers working on things for me at the moment, just because I found out they were customizers. I'm just like, hey, work. But I bought the cheap Scourge that was from Kmart. And because I guess Hasbro haven't got around to it yet, or are not planning to, I've commissioned a Toxitron out of that Scourge because I've really wanted a figure of that guy for ages, and we just haven't got one. And that's the perfect mod for it. So yes, King Atlas out of this guy. I know he's obscure, but it's the time for getting obscure characters is now. Because we've got Jaxus for the first time, like a brilliant new mold. Like a new mold just for Jaxus is insane when you think about it.
Also, is King Atlas Japanese G1, did you say?
No, he's Universe. So he's a
Universe.
Yeah, so he's a Universe. You know, you remember Universe, that weird line where they just got a random toy from a random 2000s era toy and painted it up as a random character, weird characters. We got lots of weird oddities from that line, and King Atlas was probably one of the better ones. Out of the, I never remember the actual original mold. It is Stalker, I think, from G2, because that's what this guy's based on, isn't it?
I don't know.
So like from G2,
isn't the original? So the original Skyquake. What was the original? Was the original Skyquake?
I think it was his own mold, like Predators.
Oh, okay. Well, someone in the comments will know. But
are you asking where the name Skyquake was originally first used?
So, no. What was there? It was a Predator.
Like that. No, Jason, you idiot.
No, you asshole.
Skyquake was one of the Predators in G2. Like, he was one of the big guys.
Yeah, with the view, the little view thing in the back, right, of the jet mode. You could drop bombs.
I don't know. I've never picked one up.
I have no idea what's going on.
Oh my god, no! Sorry. Anyway, I just think, to cut a long story short. Okay, to cut a long story short, I think this would look great as mold. Thanks, Mark. Different Mark. I think this would look great in white as King Atlas, who's an obscure character. King Atlas was a redeco of the Generation 1 Decepticon Predator Skyquake. So yes, he would work perfectly as this. Thank you, Kyle. I'm incompetent. Here we go. We have all of the all of the comments coming and showing where I'm wrong. So yes, Predator Stalker was a bland bit. Thank you, Rob. I get those obscure characters. I'm not really too versed in, but like I think this guy would look great as. I think there's so much potential for this mold, and the thing that kind of just hit me is it's a leader class and it's going to cost like $100, and I said I'm going to buy them all, so I've got to stick to that now. So there you go.
I'm going to go back slightly in the comments because we've got a Tarn, and there's a question of what the hell are they going to do if they want to do the rest of the DJD. Hasbro designers have said that the rest of the DJD are not off the table despite their questionable alt modes. So Mark did point out that he's a large bot and he's got this large chest cavity, which actually kind of makes him useful as Helix from the DJD.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can just turn all the torture modes into submarines, and there you go.
Yeah. It comes with a fleet of submarines.
So it's Tarn and his fleet of submarines. There you go. That's how they get around it.
Yeah. Tarn and his submarine
submariners.
Yeah. And there's the box for Prime Universe Skyquake. Look, that is we've spent a long time talking about the upcoming wave of Legacy. We should move on. Does anyone want to say anything to close us out?
He's good.
No, I'm pretty chuffed.
His legacy is good. Yeah.
His legacy is good.
GG or yeah. All right. So the live stream reveal ended with a couple of teasers for upcoming things. In an odd way. Oh, I don't know where it is. I'm just gonna go with the big photo up the top here. Hasbro showed the spacebridge revealing some upcoming characters from future waves. So going top to bottom there, we've got an Armada Megatron, a G1 Dirge, which might be a hint at the that the Dirge and Ramjet 2-pack has been split up into individual releases, and we might be getting those figures because, oh my goodness, a lot of people are complaining that they can't find those and complete their cone heads. So if that's an Earthrise Seeker coming back at us, there's going to be a lot of very happy people. There's a DevCon there, a Beachcomber, nice, and a Nemesis Leo Prime. That mold's got to get reused somehow. So of course there's going to be a Nemesis version. That Leo Prime is in Legacy Evolution Wave 1, which is appearing around Australia now for the original white and red version of that. So yeah.
Look. So
what do you think about upcoming figures?
My thoughts are don't care. Oh my god, I'm Armada Megatron.
Thank you. I'm going to get to that. The Black Cloud Convoy did appear in the show it's from, so that's fair that it's coming out. It's not just a black repaint. It's good if they've made a mold, they have to get more than one use out. Yeah, of course. But I'd say it makes sense because it was a character from the show, at least probably one episode. Beachcomber, we've had plenty. DevCon?
No. Beachcomber. Let's talk about Beachcomber because Hasbro's been updating the mini-bots for the last few years. So this is going to be a deluxe scale Beachcomber. It's going to go with the likes of Huffer, Cosmos, Warpath. These guys have been really good. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on this Beachcomber.
Okay.
We haven't had an updated Beachcomber beyond that Legends one, have we?
The Titans Return one?
The Scout class. It's just been that Legends figure.
Correct.
Yeah, I think so.
For a 84 cast member too, it's just kind of I can't think of it off the top of my head. I can't think of any other 84 cast members that have only had like a single update.
He's pretty iconic too. He has his own episode that's really like depressing as well. So, look, cool. I mean, it's good for people to collect those things. I won't be getting it, but like, I'm glad people will be completing that line, and it's a really good character.
Warren Walter says he's very, very excited for Beachcomber. I'm right there with you, Warren.
Excellent. Yeah.
All right, Mikey wants to talk about Armada Megatron.
I do. So, look, DevCon, cool. Dirge, don't care. Armada Megatron. It's conflicting though. So
just a second. I'm just gonna try something. Mikey, you'd like to talk about Armada Megatron? So we're not going to hamper you, but I'm going to give you some appropriate backing track. Go on.
What is this? Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about Armada Megatron. This is. I wasn't expecting.
It's very distracting, isn't it? Sorry.
It is. Anyway, I felt like I had to talk like this. Yeah, Armada Megatron.
Okay, all right. We're back with love songs and dedications. Mikey, you'd like to send out an Armada Megatron to someone special in the world.
I would, and that someone special would be me because I'm like that. So Armada Megatron. Okay. Hopefully it's at least a leader class. That'd be great. The only conflicting thing is I recently obtained third-party figures of both the Optimus from Armada and Megatron, and they're both very good. The only thing I really don't like about the Megatron from that company is the head sculpt, which is not great, in my opinion. But the thing is, if we're going to get a Commander class at least... Optimus Prime with trailer, so that's fantastic. It can't just be the cab for commander size, so it would have to have the trailer. So that's amazing. And then we're looking like we're getting a Megatron.
The Commander class tends to come out after Wave 2 now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I haven't really seen it. Yeah, okay, well that's good.
I mean, that's when Motormaster came out.
Let's hope.
Wild Rider. Yeah,
let's hope we start to see something of it soon, because that figure has been in the pipeline for years. So look, I love Armada. I grew up with Armada. Was the second. It was one of the first Transformers media I witnessed. And the only thing, I mean, we need a tidal wave. We've needed a tidal wave for years. I actually love it. So, like, this is the only Armada original figure that I own, and he's sitting right here. It is tidal wave because he's just like one of the best toys ever, in my opinion. We need an update of him. I don't necessarily think he needs to be a Titan or Commander. He just needs to look good. But if we are getting a Megatron and a Prime, we need a Jetfire and an Overload and a Tidal Wave to go along with it. And if that was to happen through Hasbro, I will be... And they're good, obviously. I probably will be getting rid of my third-party versions, even though they're great. But I just feel... I feel Hasbro can do something really good with... And I've loved Armada Starscream that came out. I thought he was pretty much perfect, minus the fact that his wing doesn't turn into his blade, which kind of sucks, but compromises. Hotshot looks amazing. He's starting to come out soon. I'm really looking forward to him. And yes, the Megatron design from Armada is amazing, and it's about time that we've got an update. And seeing this is the best thing that's been revealed, in my opinion, this year at least.
Interesting question about this is that out of all of these reveals, so there's also up the top left, it says Axel Grease, who would be the next Junkion, so they're not showing us that. The Junkion and Beachcomber would be the only deluxe scale here, unless they're doing something funky with DevCon. We all kind of assume that DevCon's going to end up being a Scourge repaint.
Yeah, it has to be.
However, there was a question. Rob asked, "Do you think DevCon might actually be the G-Axis mold instead of the Scourge mold?" That's possible, but also that still makes him a Voyager. So, like, we might be looking at the rest of Evolution here in terms of Voyagers, because we've got presumably DevCon, Nemesis Leo, Dirge would be some of the upcoming Voyagers there. Axel Grace, I know there's a Junkion that's coming as a Voyager as well. You would assume that like Armada Megatron is going to be a leader class figure. So yeah, like we're seeing quite a few hints at Voyagers here. So
they could pull a reverse Cheetor on us for DevCon if they wanted to.
That sounds like something that you could be arrested for doing in public.
Yes. But you know how they got Cheetor and they upscaled him into Voyager for Tigatron. Like, what's stopping them from downscaling Scourge into a deluxe form for DevCon if they wanted to? I mean, it's not necessary, but like, I guess he's more of a deluxe character.
Yeah, he kind of is, isn't he? Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see something else come out as DevCon. But
Or even
yeah,
in new, like
I guess we'll see.
we all thought that Metalhawk. I mean, he ended up being a retool, obviously, but we all thought he was going to be a retool of Jaxus, and he wasn't. So he could just be something that we're not thinking of, or they could just show this guy some love that he really deserves because he's quite a cool character.
They might pull a Cosmos and get him a new mold. We'll see.
Yeah, completely new mold, you know. So you never know. Time will tell.
Alrighty, let's move on from let's move on from Legacy. There was a very quick story here. There is a reveal coming from Hasbro on the February 28th at 10 a.m. A toy of titanic proportions. Gee, I wonder which size class it will be. And equal secrecy. That one, I think we've got you pegged on, Hasbro. You should be here for this one. There's been rumors for a long time of a blue repaint of the Siege Omega Supreme mold as Gen Select's Guardian. It would not be the first Titan to get repainted into the Gen Selects line, and this is kind of about the time of year that they did Black Zarek as well. So let's assume that this is going to be the Gen Select's blue Guardian repaint of Omega Supreme. It's going to be coming out in the next month or so. I've heard that it's already arrived and the stock is already ready to go in the USA. So surely this has got to be it.
That's exactly what we need, a Titan class true builder.
Yeah. I think that's what Hasbro's bottom line needs. But yeah. You can buy you can buy a couple of them. Though if Black Zarek is anything to go by, if you wait a year, it'll be available cheap. So we'll see. Let's move on from Gen Selects and let's talk a little bit about Earthspark. Now we are quite well into the hour plus timing of the show, but we've still got quite a bit to go. But Earthspark is something that we haven't actually spoken too much about because the episodes hit Australia at the end of November, which was after our last show in 2022. 10 episodes dropped. There's new episodes coming March 3rd in the US. Not sure what will happen for Paramount Plus in Australia. Hopefully they'll see the light and release them at the same time in Australia, but we might be prepared for them being a little bit late as well. There is a trailer on YouTube if you are so inclined to check it out. Now, let's chat a little bit about the first 10 episodes of Earthspark. Mikey, I'm pretty sure that you've seen them. Yep. Max, have you seen the Earthspark?
I have seen the Earthspark.
Very good. What did you think?
So a lot of filler, but then a lot of really good stuff as well. So it's kind of like, I'll admit, I actually just skipped through a lot of the filler. I got
as long as you get to the last 2 episodes of the season, it's pretty good. Mark asks, is it a tight turnaround between seasons or is it a split season? I think it's a split season. We had heard that the first season actually has 26 episodes. We don't know how many they're going to release here. I wouldn't be surprised if they release 2 lots of 8 and they release 8 now and there's more coming later on. I don't think there's any hint in here as to how many episodes are coming.
So
this is a new episodes March 3rd.
This is a thing that Nickelodeon do on a regular basis. I think they did it with the Turtles as well. Just to stagger the release or just to keep the hype about the show so that kids, continue to buy the toys. Especially since, like, when you think about it, none of the, like, when we all watched this show, there were no toys on the shelves. So, like, poor marketing on their part. But I think it just gives kids enough time to buy the toys, really. I mean, that's the whole point. The whole purpose of a cartoon is to buy toys, is to sell toys to kids, and they weren't, I guess, specifically at that time when the 10 episodes were released, and we still kind of don't. I mean, we're just getting them, so it makes sense what they're doing. But I think that's the reason why they do it. But they do it for a lot of their animated shows.
I don't really have too much of a problem with them doing this, right? Like, if they've paid to produce 26 episodes of this stuff and they drop them all at once, then they get a big blip in the Transformers community's mind share for a day or so, or maybe a week or so when that comes out. But they definitely planned the season to be split, right? Like episodes 9 and 10 were a good jumping off point for a hiatus. So, and I mean, if you take the Australian release schedule, or even if you take the US release schedule where it started mid-November, then they would have, if they were airing one episode a week, they would have only just finished the first 10 episodes now. Then you've got a month to wait for new episodes. I actually think it's not really that bad. It's not really off the schedule. It seems fine to me. So, however, to get to the total number of episodes of 26 for the thing, I don't see them releasing 16 episodes now. I think they'll be more likely to release 8 and maybe another 8, or they'll do 10 and then they'll do another 6 as like a final thing for the end of the season. But yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. I do agree, Max. I think it was not filler per se, just so much as it was kind of, I don't know. I don't know that the way that I described it originally. I feel like the tone of the show was all over the place. Like the show's capable of swinging so wildly within 10 episodes, going from Transformers learn about baby cows to Transformers in a full on battle where someone throws an aircraft carrier at them. Like there's a massive shift in the episode there, and I think as Transformers fans, we would prefer our Transformers series was more like episodes 9 and 10 with the massive battle than the episodes down on the farm. But those episodes also did add quite a lot of character to it, and so I'm not really that prepared to hang them all out to dry. I quite liked it. As you can see from the still that I've got up for the season 1B whatever trailer, we're getting some new characters. We've got Grimlock appearing here. Grimlock looks pretty cool. A lot of the bots have very cool designs.
What's
big. That, Max?
He's voiced by Keith David of all people, like just out of nowhere.
Right.
Some of Earthspark's voice casting has been non-conventional, but it's also worked quite well, I think.
I love Megatron.
Oh yeah, Megatron's been fantastic. I mean,
and Prime.
They've also characterized Megatron really well. So at that point, you kind of don't care who the voice actor is, but obviously it works. And yeah, I think if I had to call out some of my favorite stuff for Megatron specifically, I like the fact that Dot has a better working relationship with Megatron than she does with Prime. That's cool. That's something that's a dynamic we haven't seen in a Transformers show before. The idea that the Decepticons are trying to get Megatron back for what he did is also an interesting one. That sort of leans into some of the DJD sort of prosecuting Decepticon deserters from the RDW comics, which I find that an interesting idea. And the other thing that I absolutely adore is from episode 1 when you see a group chat with Dot, Megatron, and Optimus answers only in emojis. And then Dot gets Megatron on voice chat, and Megatron goes, "I know we have to speak to Optimus about his emoji abuse." It's like that's a line that I did not expect to hear in Transformers.
It's like kind of unhinged, but it's brilliant.
Yeah, like it's unhinged, but it's still anchored enough to what kids today get into. Like the number of times I get like a string of emojis from my niece and nephew over Messenger. Like kids know that the emoji keyboard is there. Like we've all had to discover it because we've all gotten smart devices and gone, what the fuck is this emoji button? But kids are growing up with this stuff, and so like it's it's become part of the culture for them that they use smiley faces and frowns and all sorts of different emojis to express their emotions. I think it's really cool.
I'm a fan of the show. I think it's really cool. It's definitely, there's a lot of new concepts and cool things in this, and I really like Soundwave in the show. I think he's quite cool. Swindle's great. He's very much his own character. I even like the human villain, which is Mandroid, Dr. Meridian. So at points, as before we got to 8 and 9, I think it is, or 9 and 10.
9 and 10,
whichever it is.
yeah.
9 and 10.
I mean, 8, 9, and 10, but as before it got to the business end of the season,
8 was good.
There's
8 was
this one
good.
of Soundwave, so it's sort of like
I think
you
8
have
was the
the
yeah.
starts and with a few it starts like the first 3 episodes involve Autobots and Decepticons beyond that core cast. Then 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all just around the farm mucking about. And then it's like episode 8, Soundwave, 9 and 10 for 2-parter. So you kind of have like it starts high and finishes even higher, but there is this lull in the middle.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But some of the action in the last couple of episodes is some of the best action we've had in Transformers, for the fight scenes and stuff. So if they can maintain that,
absolutely agree.
That military base fight, like against the Seekers, like I was not prepared for just how well put together that was.
Yeah, it was choreographed amazingly.
Like it was as good, if not better, than most action sequences in the movies. Like just the framing of the shots, like it just came out of nowhere. Like the whole, at least the ones that really stuck out was focused on the parents, like, and them trying to protect their children, and then it pans out and the screen shaking. This is like fully like switching from this silly goofy show about these kind of goofy takes on Optimus and Megatron, and then you get to that and all of a sudden it zooms out and it's these giant Titanic things that are genuinely scary and these people are terrified and it's like really fucking tense. Just sort of was really blown away by that.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. And there's so it ended at a pretty cool point. There were some cameos of like I don't know if I want to say it, but like there was a character.
Don't spoil it unless we have to. But like you can allude to stuff. Yeah.
So
I mean, we spoiled other things. Sorry, but yeah.
But it's been out a bit. So there is a character we see, in a prison cell, and we just get to see him, and just like, oh, okay, so we're going to see something from him, and there's something that happens at the end of the Soundwave or the last episode where they're just like, okay, something big's going to happen. So, that's cool. And then in this trailer, at least, we get the reveal of a huge Grimlock. So they're obviously going off the idea that Grimlock is quite a large character, which is cool. I believe... What else did we see? The main thing that I'm really excited about, and I was like shocked that we got Transmetal to Tarantulas in the trailer. Not only was he Transmetal to Tarantulas, but he was doing the Doc Ock thing of walking on his insect legs as he's walking around. So like he's using his two of his hind legs to walk around on, which I thought was sick.
And voiced by Alfie Allen as well. Like, it's insane voice cast of this thing.
For Tarantulas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
For who was it? Sorry, did you say?
Alfie Allen. So, Theon from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh, another Game of Thrones character.
Yeah.
Damn.
Apparently, all the Game of Thrones cast are not busy at the moment.
No, they're not.
What did they say about the Combined Wars series? It's a Game of Thrones of animation. Maybe this is it. It's
God, that awful thing. So I don't remember.
How dare
that
you bring up that show? While
you just made me really sad. Now I'm
where's
gonna
the button to get rid of Max?
I genuinely apologize. This is a genuine apology. I'm sorry.
But yeah, there's been some cool character reveals in this trailer, so it looks like it's gonna elevate from here, and it's gonna get even better. It looks like Grimlock's gonna be a bit unhinged. Probably they wake him up and he doesn't know who he's fighting or something. The common Grimlock thing.
Maybe is that? Does it look like Megatron down there in front of him, or is it perhaps one of the Terrans? I think
you got Thrash there. That looks like he's getting flamethrowered at, and I think one of the Terrans. So it looks like maybe they freed him from something, or he's just waking up from something and he doesn't know who he's fighting, or he's just a nutcase, which Grimlock can be. So you never know.
And then there's also the other thing that stuck out to me with this trailer was it looks like we're getting like fleshed out flashbacks to the end of a war. Because we had those sort of at the start of the first part of the season, we had the G1 style animated flashbacks Whereas now, there's scenes here showing like Bumblebee in an older alt mode fighting Starscream, and then Optimus and Shockwave and Megatron, and they've all got the classic faction symbols rather than the Ghost faction symbols.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
Right,
like
right.
looked to be fighting over what looked like the Allspark, so that seems to be the at least
That's usually the MacGuffin these days, right?
Yeah, it needs something to be the MacGuffin, but yeah, so it'd be cool to see exactly how the war ended and how his character dynamics played out.
Transformers always need a good McMuffin.
All right. Without any further ado, we're going to move on from Earthspark. I think it's safe to say we quite enjoyed it. We're looking forward to new episodes coming out in a little over a month, or a little under a month. But we'll see what happens for the Australian release. And let's move on. There's been a lot of news this month in the last week or so of Rise of the Beasts. So we do have some confirmation today that there will be a new trailer, or at least there'll be a spot airing at the Super Bowl. Does anyone know when the Super Bowl is?
February
Sunday.
12th.
February 12th. There we go.
12th. Okay, I thought it was 17th.
Monday the 13th for us.
Yeah, Monday the 13th. Cool. We'll see how it goes.
I just hope, even if it is a 30-second spot, which I kind of wanted the official trailer, but anyway, can it all be new footage? Can we not just, that I'm kind of expecting just it to be a TV spot with just condensed footage we've already seen, and that would suck because I'm hungry for more footage.
It sounds like they often just cut down from the initial one.
Look, I actually think if you're going to spend the money on putting something there at the Super Bowl to get people's eyes on it, you'll probably put new footage in it.
Now that you mention it, yeah, that makes sense.
Previous Transformers Super Bowl spots, like I know Marvel makes a big deal out of like when their movies are trying to Super Bowl, like they show a lot of new footage, but I can't remember what the Transformers teasers were like.
It's because it's been over 5 years, Max.
I just hope we get some characters speaking. That's, I don't know about you guys, but like the thing that I always look forward to in these trailers is hearing what the Transformers sound like, because it's always just like, oh, here's a human doing something, and there's a Transformer for 5 seconds, and here's a human doing something. But with this trailer that we got before, the teaser trailer, there was hardly any humans in it, which is actually really exciting for me. Because we might actually start getting some character-driven Transformers movies from the actual Transformers rather than the humans.
Well, the issue with a lot of the older movies was Transformers would talk, but they would only talk to humans. There was never any conversation.
Yes, exactly.
And in the first trailer, at least, we do have at least Optimus, the Prime and Primal conversing. So that's clutching at straws. But I'm hoping, like you said, that first trailer, basically entirely Transformers, very little humans in it whatsoever. So hopefully it's a sign of, hey, when dialogue's happening, there is a dialogue between the robots.
And that's the thing. Look, I've been watching all of these reactions to these trailers, and even people who aren't fans, or even just like, movie people that watch these trailers because that's what they do for their channel, they're just like, yeah, these are really cool movies, but there's too many humans. The fans and non-fans are saying too many humans, too many humans, too many humans for these movies. So I think they've finally, with Bumblebee, it was a lot better. It was, but the thing is with Bumblebee, Charlie was actually a really likable character, and like you actually wanted to know more about her. But there was some really good like dialogue between Bumblebee and like Shatter and Dropkick. Like there was some cool fights and some cool stuff happening there, and even the Cybertron scene, which is one of the best Transformers pieces of media ever so far. I've struggled to put into words what is missing from these movies, and you've nailed it on the head with the Transformers just don't speak to each other. They just speak to the humans, and that's it. We want Transformers.
It's like The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, exactly. That movie, which I haven't seen. So like we want them to like, not swear at each other, but we want them to like, have back and forth as they're fighting, and we want them to not just make go blah 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 and like all those growling noises that the first couple of movies make, and not actually speaking. We actually want them to talk. We want the voice actors to actually be proud of what they're doing,
earn their money,
yeah. And I want to hear what Peter Dinklage's Scourge sounds like, because I think that's so freaking cool. So
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after
another
the
Game of
show.
Thrones actor in Transformers. There you go.
It's true. It's true. Another one.
Another slight thing of a trailer. As I was going to say, just
Sorry?
another slight thing of a trailer is the first trailer it showed us quite a bit, but one thing I didn't really talk about when that first trailer came out was that there's a lot of shots where you see the character starting to transform, and you never see what their finished robot mode looks like.
Yeah, like Mirage.
You never see what Mirage actually looks like. You never see what Cheetor actually looks like.
Primal.
Primal. Yeah, you never see quite what they look like. Clearly, it cuts away at the last moment. Even like Bumblebee, it cuts away just as they're about to finish, and so. I'd like it if we could actually just get a full, proper look at the characters, because the first trailer was kind of all about just showing us them almost becoming the characters, but not quite.
They want to show you that they are Transformers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what they did.
All right, let's move on from trailer news, because there is quite a lot of toy news to talk about for Rise of the Beasts. Which means we're gonna start with a reveal from December, looking at Studio Series Bumblebee and Battletrap. I believe these were official photos. I think. Looking at the robot mode and the alt mode of these. These are quite old, so I don't want to spend too long talking about them. But I believe they were quite well received. I think people looked at Battletrap and just went, "That was like, that's quite good." There's a lot of detail on Battletrap. The head design, I think, is quite inspired as well. Yeah.
The interesting thing.
What do you guys think?
The interesting thing that we learned about Battletrap was we already know how he was because there was reviews of things and stuff like that. But on his packaging, on his head crest, there's a Decepticon symbol. So unless that's just a mistake, which I don't think it is, I have a theory on what's going on there. I believe that the Terracons are, and this is just a fan theory at the moment, but it could be right. He used to be a Decepticon. He died and then was resurrected as a Terracon, like as a zombie. Like pretty much that's why they look like that. So
look, I will also add to this that Stephen Cable Jr. has been out there doing interviews, and he said, look, if you know where the Terracons come from, then like you'll know what's not been revealed out of the movie trailer yet, right? So
where the zombies? So
who's known for resurrecting dead Decepticons?
Yeah, Unicron. So,
Rob points out that this is a year for both motorcycles and tow trucks. Very true.
It is
very true.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, it is. Scrap Hook and Battletrap.
What do you think about the Bumblebee? I must admit, I've got Studio Series Bumblebee fatigue, and I just really don't care.
I've never owned one. Don't tend to start. It's just too many.
It started with Bumblebee, and of course, the 100th Studio Series figure is a Bumblebee. I'm pretty sure the 50th one was also a Bumblebee. So wherever there's a significant milestone in Studio Series, you bet it's going to be a Bumblebee. So there you go.
Yeah. Nothing against like the design of the character or the figure or something.
I think it looks great. It looks cool.
There's just too many of them. Yeah.
There's too many, but it looks decent. Like we all knew this was going to come. So
Yeah. Right. So we also have seen a Studio Series Cheetor. Again, an official reveal. This guy is a Voyager class figure. Now, this guy has proven slightly controversial in some ways to people. I think it looks fine as a Cheetor. I'm glad to hear you say that. So yeah, what do we think of Rise of the Beasts Cheetor, at least as he'll be presented in Studio Series? Mike and I both like it. Max, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it's I can't find fault with it. Like, it's not grabbing me. It kind of looks a bit, I don't want to say generic, but yeah, generic. Like there's no, he's lacking a sort of dynamicism that Cheetor designs generally have. He just kind of looks like a man. Whereas
I think that's fair. I think his transformation's extremely neat. by the look of this. Either that, or they've just chosen the perfect angles to avoid showing the back kibble. But the transformation is quite neat, which I think sort of plays into sort of making it look a little bit generic because there's no obvious beast parts hanging off him.
Yeah, it's not even that, but more just the proportions. Like he just looks like a dude, whereas Cheetor, like Mike says, he's often quite lithe. He's not spindly, but he looks like a spring, like he's about to bounce. Like fuck, that's a really bad way of describing it.
Mike says he's like chunky, not lithe. I think that's quite appropriate. Yeah. And Rob says the Cheetor design is growing on him, but wait until you see it in the shops.
I just think the transformation for the hands in both modes is lazy for this toy, but other than that, it's cool.
That is a very good call out because you can definitely see those hands hanging at the back of his heels there, and yes, that does feel a little bit lazy for Studio Series, doesn't it?
It does, which is unfortunate because it looks like a really promising figure. Then I see that and it just looks like he's just like going on like his knuckles and he's got little Wolverine claws or something. I don't know.
Let's talk about one that everyone's very happy with. At least I think everyone's very happy with, which is the leader class Scourge. Goodness me! Look at this fellow. There's some paint apps splashed all over him there. There's some chain detail molded into his grill there. The symbols, the faction symbols of the bots that he's killed are molded into him as well. Just look at that horde mode. That looks beautiful, doesn't it?
If you thought that Dark of the Moon Megatron was Mad Max, you haven't seen this guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is 100% Mad Max. Fury Road.
Yeah, agree.
But I love it, but it's a bit much.
It's kind of a bit badass in the try mode. I gotta say, his legs look a little bit spindly.
They're very skinny, but they are in the movie. So like, what can you do? He has weird proportions in the movie. He's very slender in the movie. He's even more slender than this in the movie. But from what I've seen in that one clip we've seen, he's very faithful. He does have the one arm that has the sword that skewers Bumblebee, and on the other arm he has the tentacle hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm kind of going over these quickly because these guys have been out for a few weeks, so I figure everyone's already seen them.
Yeah, it looks great.
I think it looks good. The other one that's been out for a few weeks is a look at the core class figures. These came from, I think they came from Amazon listings. So we have a core class, a genuinely different core class Freezer, who's the Terracon there. You can see he's sort of got 4 eyes and a mouth with teeth, and he's got sort of like 2 legs, 4 arms, or just 6 legs, whatever. And then you've got an RC, which turns into, I believe, again, a motorbike.
This Freezer dude looks like he's responding to someone who says hello there. But
yeah, maybe, yeah. Again, these guys have been out for a while. Sorry, go on, Max.
There's a very Bayform. It doesn't like that. Does not look like any it just looks like a Michael Bay design.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. I agree. It doesn't fit the aesthetic that we've seen so far. It looks like a first movie.
I'm not complaining per se, but it is a bit jarring. Just to
can I posit that maybe the Terracons fit that aesthetic better? I actually think he doesn't look too off from sort of the Terracon idea of Scourge, just with maybe the color scheme and the splashes of paint showing a bit of damage and aging over him. But because these core figures have been out for a while, I do want to move on quickly from them and show you why I think people might warm to Freezer. That's a bit of an odd turn of phrase.
Warm to Freezer.
Freezer can turn into a turret for the back of Scourge.
Interesting.
That I find pretty awesome.
That'll be amazing. What's in the movie? I'd love to see this.
I feel like it might be. I feel like
he turns into a gun. He turns into a gun that can be held by a figure as well. So he turns into a. So it looks like he. I'd say his second mode is the thing that attaches to Scourge. That's the thing that attaches to Scourge, and the thing at the top is the gun that can be held by a character. So he's a target master that has other uses.
Yeah, like it all feels very deliberate.
Yeah. So yeah, look, I'm a bit lukewarm on Freezer, but that turret mode is just that's really nice. Really like it. So yeah. There is also an Air Razor. There's an Air Razor in the mix as well, but we've actually seen her before. She leaked out, and I think we spoke about her last year. With that said and done, let's go quickly through to the Rise of the Beasts kids toy line. So the kids line has been revealed. We've got Prime. Sorry, we've got Prime Bumblebee and looks like a Rhinox. There, yeah, that's definitely a Rhinox. Look at his weapons there. These look like they're pretty small scale figures, but those transformations and those alt modes look pretty damn good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
I mean, this is our first real look at Rhinox in robot mode, I guess.
Yeah, it looks. I think Rhinox looks pretty faithful to his Beast Wars representation.
Extremely, at least. Yeah.
I really like the fact that there's some.
I keep talking over you. Sorry.
Yeah.
He was in the background of a couple of shots in the trailer, and you could only really make out his head, but it was dead on to this.
Yeah, I really like the fact that his beast mode has some obvious signs of metallic surfaces showing through as well, because that's a little bit different. It's sort of like a half beast, half techno.
Like Primal.
Yeah, a little bit like Primal. Primal feels more like multiple surfaces making up his beast mode surface rather than a combination. But that was quite interesting there. I felt. Is that a different? That is not Rhinox in that shot there. That's someone else there.
That's Primal.
Well.
Primal.
That's Primal.
That's Primal with the Tigertron that turns into a crossbone. And
are these the guys that combine?
Maybe not. I think they're different toys down the line. Yeah.
That looks pretty much like the core class Optimus that we've seen elsewhere, doesn't it? In a way,
like
close to it.
That's actually looks really. Yeah, can you get back? I just haven't paid much attention to these, but that's actually a pretty decent looking little core class figure, isn't it? Like
it looks like he's core-ish, but the weapon that he's holding is also sort of probably about that scale.
And it comes with a wolf shitting a chainsaw.
That is maybe if we still did episode titles, that would be it. Now, so the reason I ask about the combiners thing, see here, you can see that there's these guys are combining with each other. So like Bumblebee's wearing parts of, I think, Primal there as well, and there's also, I think there's an alligator in here that we haven't seen there. I'm so confused about this line.
It's just this one. I doubt this will happen in the movie, but I think it's just a toy line. But that's probably cool.
So there's a nice skull cruncher there as well, and you can see that he combines with Primal there as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's been interesting.
I mean, I'm not against it.
I like it kind of.
No,
it's almost like Inca, like Aztec aesthetic to it. Like,
well, that's gonna happen in the movie. They're going.
Yeah,
to
but like the face sculpt and everything kind of looks like a piece of wall art or something.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's also a callback to That's a call, but that particular Primal is a callback to the original 2-pack of Primal and Megatron that Megatron turned into. Oh, well, not really. I mean, Megatron turned into an alligator, but Primal turned into a bat. So it's kind of a callback to that, I guess. Which is cool.
Mark asks, is Prime going to start deforesting the Amazon? Maybe, I don't know. Like probably not. That would put him on the wrong side, I think. But yeah,
yeah, kind of.
Yeah. And Mark does also point out that Bumblebee has a prominent scene with Cheetor in the trailer, so maybe that's a tease for them combining. Maybe.
Yeah, I think they just like these type of combining toy gimmicks. I really doubt we'll see it in the movie. I'm not against it if it happens in the movie, but I just don't see Prime walking up to a crocodile and wearing it as a shirt. So, you know.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That's. I think these are like crash combiners or something like that.
They're just Target Master toys type things.
Yeah. We also have finally seen the masks. The masks we saw a while ago. Actually, sorry, yeah. So, here's where the Smash changes have come into it. I don't think those are the same figures. This actually came out, I think it was today. So we only have screen caps that someone's taken on their phone and not cropped them. So thanks, guys. But yeah, so there's those guys. But the main reason I brought up this part of the story is the masks. So we did see the transforming masks about halfway through last year, and we're like, what is that? And then turns out here we are. There's a Bumblebee 2-in-1 mask. It's a mask that transforms into a Bumblebee figure. Like, it may not be a very good figure. It may not be a very good figure, but the fact that you've actually got a transformer that turns into a mask is pretty fucking impressive.
I like it. I'm not going to buy it, but I like it.
That seems fine to me as well. So so we've definitely seen those figures revealed. I think we're probably going to see some more stuff revealed over the next few days as well. We'll see how we go. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting to the end of my voice for the night. But we've got 2 more stories to go. One is going to be very fast. We alluded to it earlier in the show. Masterpiece MP48 Dark Amber Leo Prime is out in Asia, and I am not sure that I know anybody who has this on their buy list. But I got to say, it looks pretty nice in those colors. What do you guys
really
think?
classy. Yeah,
I feel like it's a bit. I feel like this was a kind of an underrated masterpiece mold. I feel like it came and went without people really making too much of a fuss over it. Do you guys feel that happened?
No, I agree. I saw reviews of it. It just looked too fiddly, and that's why I'm really looking forward to the Legacy release, because I've actually had a chance to mess with it. And it's a really good toy. Like,
he is a really good toy, isn't he?
Really fun beast former. And like, I initially thought I was going to skip it, but like, I have to have it just because it's just really nice, and it does everything you need a Leo Convoy or Leo Prime to do. And I mean, knowing that we're getting a black version of that toy, down the line somewhere, kind of makes this guy. And there's no real other. What's this guy? What are these? Beast Wars Neo toys, I guess. There's not really. Is it Beast Wars Neo? I don't even know. It's one of the Japanese Beast Wars lines. There's not really any other figures in that Beast Wars Masterpiece scale, so he's kind of just like the outlier, or the outlion. There you go. I think you can get a much better toy for a cheaper price, in my opinion. This like, I mean, we haven't seen the paint scheme for the other one, but this does so far have going for it a really nice paint scheme for it.
I agree. It looks nice, but also, I'm pretty sure I didn't. I still have a Masterpiece Leo Convoy Prime, whatever he is. I'm pretty sure I've still got him in a box here. I haven't opened him. I don't want to, so I won't be getting the Dark Amber version. I don't know anyone who is, and I'll probably be selling off that Leo as well.
I think his name in the show is actually Copy Convoy. I think I just remembered that. I think he's actually called Copy Convoy, which is cool.
That rolls off my tongue.
Maybe.
I know, doesn't it?
Let's talk about a Masterpiece figure that people really are up for. And this is coming out in Asia this week. And I just tried to change tabs and it didn't work. We are talking about MP57 Masterpiece Skyfire. He is apparently the largest Masterpiece ever released. I know that box is some 52 centimeters across and 30 centimeters tall. He's a big boy. He's packaged in alt mode there. You can see someone's got their hands on him around Asia. He has shipped this week, so it makes sense that people have got their hands on him. You can see the layout of things in that box. It looks very, very impressive. Can't wait to get my hands on it. It's about 2.5 kilos of Masterpiece toy as well.
Yeah, wow.
I gotta say so. Yeah,
do some reps in that'd be great.
Yeah. Put one on each arm. I believe that's not the masterpiece figure. That's the Siege
That's the
version
Siege
sitting
one
in
right
front of
there.
him.
I don't know
yeah.
why he's got that. I think it's just
I
a
don't know.
scale.
Yeah, maybe it's just for scale of the.
That's a
box
big box. My God,
It is. Look at that. So that's a 1 kilogram masterpiece figure. I think we assumed that this was going to be. I think we assumed that this was going to be hollow and light because we assumed that Jetfire would be like a $500 or $600 masterpiece figure, and I guess he is if you buy him in Australia here, like $550 or so. But I think we assumed that he was going to be more expensive than MP44, but he's not. And I think we assumed that he was probably going to end up being light and hollow. But goodness me, that's a 1 kilogram figure right there. That's the kind of thing that you see from, like, I guess Commander class or Titans and the like. So yeah, really looking forward to getting my hands on this figure and having a look and seeing what's what.
It's a nice Decepticon symbol.
That's I'm not used to seeing a spike in the middle of the Decepticon.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that is. Like, I don't know what it is, but I like it. Someone in the comments who knows exactly what that Decepticon symbol is, please enlighten us, because like that's unusual. Because that's a normal Autobot symbol. So yeah. Maybe it's like the Seeker variant. Maybe?
It is a normal Autobot symbol, although it does look like it's off center.
Yeah, just a tad.
Once seen, cannot be unseen.
Yeah, it is.
It might be the angle of the photo,
Once
but
purchased, cannot be refunded.
Yes, yeah. I feel like it's off center, but yeah. Lots and lots of photos of this guy doing the rounds. He's going to be in hand with several of us over the next few weeks. So I think we'll all be looking forward to getting a look at this guy in our hands. So I think we don't necessarily need to look at him in too much detail. We are at 1 hour and 46 minutes. I think we can blow through some acquisitions. I've got a few acquisitions from my Christmas holidays, and like we're done with news. We've got to bring the show to an end. Otherwise, Brad's going to have an absolute heart attack when he comes to edit the show. What do you got? What's new, Max? What's new in your collection?
I don't have anything with me, so it's going to take. So it's not particularly exciting, so it won't take very long. 3 legacy bots. Wild Rider is the sort of thing that would, if it came out 10 years ago, we would have all sung its praises about how it's the best figure in its line. Except it came out last year, and it's fine.
Legacy Wild Rider is pretty nice. I really like it.
He's good. I like the overall aesthetic, but just the kibble was a bit janky and like.
Yeah, there are ways to handle the kibble. It's just kind of sort of, yeah, I mean, look, I've got breakdown here, and so breakdown is basically the same thing. But like, there are ways to handle the kibble on it. But like, yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, it's a valid opinion. No worries.
I don't.
You're wrong.
I don't mind. I don't. No, really, I don't mind. You're allowed to have an opinion, for crying out loud.
Well, no, it's just like it was just something about it. It was just came off his sleeves.
No, sorry. It's probably because it's getting late. I was like,
yeah,
I like Wild Rider, but you're allowed not to. It's okay.
So you're
Don't talk shit about my Wild Rider.
Yeah.
It's just something about sorry. Just something about how you said it. So yeah, like he's good. I just don't have any particular feelings about him. G-Axis transforms into nothing, but which I guess is accurate. But otherwise is like one of the best like robot modes I've ever seen on the Transformer. Like
it's great.
Just literally just walks straight off the page. Like it is that G2 art style verbatim. It is. And and a really good action figure to boot, like really posable, really functional, like just well proportioned, so it looks good no matter what he's doing. Yeah, really impressive with that. And then also picked up Armada Starscream. I have no complaints. I think every once in a while a figure comes along that is an all-timer where you just go, "Yep, this is going to go down. I'm going to remember this one as this is where they just nailed it." And there's been a few like that recently, and Armada Starscream is one of them. I
agreed.
Yeah, I have nothing but good things to say. Poses beautifully, transforms beautifully, does everything I want him to. Looks fantastic. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's
Could not be
fantastic.
happy with that figure.
Yeah. Alrighty. Mikey, what have you got there? And do you actually have figures there?
I don't.
No,
but
that's all right. We'll talk about them.
I just wanted to mention, I played this with a fellow Transformers fan. Oh, two fellow Transformers fans recently.
And that is Beast Wars Monopoly.
Beast Wars Monopoly, yes.
People on the audio.
True. It's Beast Wars Monopoly. I was going to say it. So I really hate Monopoly. It's a crap game that ends for people, it causes, friendship breakups, divorce, and just all the bad things in the world.
But if you can mix Beast Wars into it, does it improve?
But, well, it does, because it completely changes the game. It makes it, the board is smaller and there's less properties, so it's a quicker game. The way that they've manipulated the game, it's a lot more fun, and it does actually end a lot quicker than the shitty old version. You actually incorporate transforming in this game, so there's advantages and disadvantages to being in both modes, and you get the tokens for both modes. So you get to play as Optimus Primal, Rat Trap, Cheetor, Dinobot. You decide at the start of the game if you want Dinobot to be a Predacon or a Maximal, so that's a pretty cool thing for him. And then Predacons, you've got Megatron, Black Arachnia, and Waspinator. And in both modes, so you get a really cool die-cast token for both of them in both modes. The golden disc is all incorporated in a very cool way. It's a fun game. It's a good display piece. It's got the original art on the front of it. And so if you're not a real fan of normal Monopoly, I suggest getting this, because this is 10 times better. And yeah, I actually won, which also made it a good experience. It's the first time I've ever won Monopoly. And not only did I win the Monopoly game, I monopolized. I actually owned every single thing on the board by the end of the game.
No wonder you like the game.
Yeah, well, even if I lost,
the point of Monopoly.
even if I lost, it was still a really fun time. There's the chance cards are really cool nods to the show. The locations are all nods. Everything is just. This was made by a Beast Wars fan. It's not just a rebranding for the sake of it, like all the other versions of Transformers Monopoly. This is a fantastic game that I will play whenever I can. It's and instead of hotels, you get stasis pods. So the stasis pods are the hotels. The currency is energon cubes and energon crystals. It's just been completely changed and for the better. And I highly suggest. It's only about $60 in JB Hi-Fi. So if you can get it, I do suggest getting it if you have people that'll play with you. But that was the big surprise for me from last year, is just how much I loved that. And if you come to think of it, last year we had so much Beast Wars stuff happening. We had the Netflix show with Beast Wars Incorporated. We had the Beast Wars Monopoly. We had the reissues. Last year really was the year to release that movie, and all of these things, all of these reissues and stuff have suffered from people lack of interest to buy them, these products, because the movie didn't come out and we didn't see, Transformers can turn into animals now, that's cool, I'm going to go out and buy a reissue or whatever. So it's really sad that it didn't come out last year, so more people would buy these products, because they're actually quite good. I think the reissues have been great and just aren't selling. And I mean, the Netflix show sucked ass, but we all know that. So if you can, go to your local JB or wherever sells board games and pick it up, you will have a good time. And at the very least, you could have some cool little tokens to display in your collection.
It's true. I wonder how many of those tokens are going to find their way out into people's collections, and a few years from now, people go, that's the Monopoly.
I really am thinking of displaying them there. Very well done.
Yeah, cool. All right. I have a shitload of figures to go through for acquisition, so I'm gonna go through them quickly, and we can talk about things if we get to them. Legacy Evolution Breakdown, controversial in that he's basically a recolor of Wild Rider, but I think I'm fine with that. But some people are not. I picked him up in the UK, so I paid a pretty penny for him. I walked into Forbidden Planet, and they had a few Transformers that were new. So I purchased some new Transformers while I was there on holiday. Also purchased myself a
Jealous.
Evolution Hotshot. You might notice he's holding a non-conventional weapon for Hotshot there. He's actually holding Pink Hot Rod's second gun as well. I was at the pub with a friend, and we felt that it suited him quite nicely. I did mention earlier in the show. I got a Pink Hot Rod. Nearly dropped it just there as well. This guy is coming to Australia in May. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a late release, but he will be here. So too should his Starscream, counterpart. We are hearing that there's going to be a couple more releases in that line as well. There's a G1 reissue of Hound doing the rounds in sort of a similar sort of style to this, with a sort of a flat color and like I think grey instead of chrome.
Chrome, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds that sounds likely to be there, and there's probably going to be another figure in that line as well. I did pick up the good old holiday Optimus Prime, which I think is a lot. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, but it's sort of at the same time, it's just like, is that it? It's a nice technique with the painting on the trailer and stuff. It's a nice new alt mode. I think we heard recently that in one of the roundtables or in one of the live streams that they will be doing a repaint of this in G1 colors. So we had assumed that the next use of that mold was probably going to be a combat action Optimus Prime, but it looks like it's just going to be a G1 Optimus Prime. They just said if there's any more iconic mode, like I think they said if Optimus Prime was to wake up in 2023, this is one of the most prevalent truck designs that you see on the road. So it would be perfect for Optimus Prime to disguise himself as.
There you go.
Big figure that I've also picked up that I'm super happy with is the Legacy Evolution Tarn. He's fantastic. He's great. There's nothing hollow or anything in him. He's just a really nice figure. It's really well done. Can't say anything bad about him, but he might be a little bit thin. But viewed from the front, absolutely great big hulking brute, and does come with 2 fusion cannons, as those of us familiar with the I've also just realized that I also picked up a slightly dented box Galaxy Shuttle. This has proven quite controversial because the Galaxy Shuttle in the Velocitron line doesn't appear to be coming out here. It doesn't appear to be coming out in Asia. It still may come out here. Don't take that as gospel, but they seem to be plentiful in the UK. If you are after a Galaxy Shuttle, you might do well to order one from the UK and ship it in via a freight forwarder. It depends. It'll cost a bit of money, but it depends how much you really want that. How much you really want that Galaxy Shuttle and to complete the set. So, if you're not sure how to get things in via a freight forwarder, chuck us a PM and we can help you with it. And yeah, we'll take you through it. I feel like that's about it. As I said, I've got a Earthspark Twitch. She is around here somewhere, but I don't think I actually brought her into the room for the record tonight. So no, she's not around. But yeah, it's been a nice nice period for acquisitions over the last couple of months. And now I've got no idea what I'm going to do with them. They're going to get packed into a few boxes and some crates and shipped down to Melbourne, and I don't know what's going to happen with them over the next few months. But yeah, that is it. We're at the end of the show. We're running very, very close to 2 hours, so I'm gonna rush us through the outro unless anyone has anything else that they want to add. What have we got? Anything else? No, I think we might just go.
I'm actually proud of us for keeping to 2 hours, actually. So good on us.
It's like a double episode for us coming back for the first episode of the new season. Thank you everyone for listening along. A lot of people have been listening and watching along live. You can remember you can watch us live and see what we're talking about via our YouTube channel if you are listening to this on a download later on. And you can also join our Facebook group, Transformers Collectors Club Australia, and you can watch the live record in there. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, or a registered club in Victoria, run by volunteers donating their time, effort, energy, sometimes money, and Friday nights, making collecting in Australia better for everyone. We want to build and support the Transformers collecting community in Australia by engaging fans around the country. You can find out more about the club at transformerscca.com. And that is it for us, and that's it for my voice. Gonna just bring us to an end now because I'm gonna go have a drink, have a much needed
You
drink.
sound dead.
I do sound dead. It's like I could cough and clear my throat, but it's gonna make a really bad noise. So instead, I'm just gonna say thank you for watching, and we'll be back with more Transformers news very, very soon if the current rate of reveals is kept up. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you for watching,
Cheers.
everyone.